Hi there, and welcome to Fuzzy on the Details. My name is Fuzzy, and if you like to hear late-breaking news about the Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 new upcoming products for the game that have just come to light, and I want to thank MMORPG Discord user Ryan Dock, who gave me the scoop. Thanks, Ryan. As always, I love suggestions about videos, so if you've got one like Ryan did, please feel free to hit me up on Facebook, Discord, Reddit, or email, and I'll do my best to get a video out. Before we dig into the details, just a warning. What we'll be reviewing are not official product announcements. We'll be gleaning whatever information we can from certain websites that have gotten their hands on some product information coming from CMON, Cool Mini or Not, which is the official Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game supplement producer. When Marvel makes an announcement about a product, we can trust the details are accurate, at least at the time of the announcement. Here's a slide from a video I did when they first announced the Deadpool RP's the MU book. Everything in that announcement was 100% accurate, even the date. And while the dates for other books may have slipped, all of the other details are rock solid when they're announced by Marvel. Now for contrast, here are some slides that I did when I discovered a couple of products that CMON shared with certain online web stores, and are still up there. Several months have gone by and we haven't heard anything since. Even though these products were out there and available for pre-order, I don't think we have any real way of knowing whether they'll ever be made. So, caveat emptor. You do you, but I personally would not recommend pre-ordering anything until we get a more direct announcement about what is precisely in these products. For example, these 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. dossier products include tokens. Are they really going to still be doing tokens if right now they're planning 2-dimensional minis in the starter set and 2 of the products we'll be covering today? Maybe, but it doesn't seem as likely now. Alright, enough of the warnings, let's take a look at the first link that Ryan passed on. These are an X-Men themed dice set, very similar to the dice that CMON previously made, except that the 2 regular dice are X-Men blue and gold, or Wolverine blue and yellow. So basically the same as the previous set except for a small color change, but hey, if you're going to produce more dice, you might as well do it in new colors. The retail price is in British pounds, and the expected release date is December 31st, 2024. Here's the full description of the product, cut and paste from the website, and just a gut feeling here, but I don't trust that it's accurate. Let's compare it to the description of the original dice, which I cut and paste here from Amazon. This new description has just a few words replaced, but a couple of things don't smell quite right. For example, they kept the Tesseract Infinite Energy line in there, even though the X-Men have nothing to do with the Tesseract. And they also said that the blue die is the Marvel die, but in the pic, the Marvel die is still the original red. There are no blue dice in the picture. So hopefully this is just temporary text and will be replaced with something that makes a little bit more sense soon. Now, if we look at the other 2 links that Ryan sent, there are no pictures to be found on those sites, but I want to teach you guys a pretty simple trick that I use when there's a little bit of a leak like this. Just find the product SKU on the page. It usually has an identifier that starts with CMN, that's CMON's naming convention. Ignore any prefix, that's just specific to the site that we're on, and Google the identifiers and maybe you'll find a few other sites that could have more information or pictures. You could even play around with the SKU number to see if there are any hidden products out there that just haven't been revealed yet. This is how I discovered those 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. dossier products way back. So I tried that trick again here with the next 2 sequential SKU numbers, but alas, we don't have any fun new products out there to report on. Okay, let's check out that second link that Ryan sent, the 2-dimensional miniature pack. These appear to be the same flat acrylic minis that they produced for the exclusive starter set that CMON was selling pre-orders for a few months back, and still won't be delivered for another 3.5 months or so. The pics that I was able to grab from the online web stores weren't great, so here are a few that I grabbed from CMON's crowdfunded starter set page. This pic and the 2 upcoming ones appear to be the exact same miniatures that you got if you selected the first add-on mini set as part of the Deluxe Starter Set campaign that CMON recently ran with GameFound. As I mentioned back then, they look pretty good. I like the art a lot, and the JJ and Titania ones are my favorites here for sure. Note, that add-on for the Deluxe Starter Set campaign that I mentioned also had a larger Hulk miniature. Now that was described as an exclusive, so that's why you're not seeing it here. Okay, the second set contains, you guessed it, the same minis that were available in the second add-on set for the Deluxe Starter Set crowdfunding campaign. Once again, there are no good pics available on any of the websites, but I've included some more so you have a better idea of what they look like. Here's the first set of close-ups. Gotta say, that's a pretty sick-looking Iceman, and probably something you couldn't replicate well in a three-dimensional miniature. Once again, if you ordered these minis as part of the Deluxe Starter Set campaign with the add-on number 2 set, that includes a Giant Man mini as an exclusive, obviously not available here. And here's the last set. So to recap, in each of these sets you're getting 10 two-dimensional miniatures for 15 British pounds, which is a little over 19 US dollars. The discounted price, $12.79, comes out to about 16.5 US dollars. So let's round down and say about $1.50 a mini before shipping. For some, that might be a really good price. But for me, I gotta say, this is a hard pass. And there are two reasons why. One, and obviously this is a personal choice, but I've already got a bunch of regular three-dimensional minis from HeroClix, and I just don't like the whole mix and match aesthetic. Two, I just don't think it's a good value. And that's because CMON is providing a solution for a problem that the secondary market has already solved. Here, take a look at this. I happen to use trollandtoad.com to buy my HeroClix minis. This is not an endorsement, I've just used them a couple of times and was really satisfied with them, so they're my go-to online store for minis. Your mileage may vary, but I know there's a lot of great places online to get your minis. So I did a search on Troll and Toad for all of the 20 above minis, and 12 of them were actually available in stock for under $1 each. And this is just me checking one store in about 3 minutes. Here's an example. For set 1, 7 of 10 of them are available for a total of $5.33, so about 75 cents a mini, or half of what you pay for the two-dimensional ones, which come in a set so you can't just collect the ones that you want. And here are the ones from the second set. Not as many, only 5 under $1, and we've got Doc Ock here under $2. Now, to further demonstrate the value you can find on the secondary market, I want to share 2 purchases I made in 2024 from Troll and Toad. One was a couple of months ago, and one was closer to half a year. Note, these were just regular purchases I made because I wanted some extra minis. No agenda, no trying to prove anything, nothing cherry-picked. These are the only 2 orders I made this year in their entirety. Purchase number 1, I dropped $27 and I got 27 minis. You can see a few of them are 50 cents, and I'll show you a pic in a little bit so you can see what you get for 50 cents. And a couple of them were up around $2, and I'll show those off too. Second purchase, look familiar? 24 minis, $24. In this one, I grabbed a bunch of police officers since I needed a lot of those, and I even grabbed the DC one. Don't tell my kids, they will disown me. I picked up a bunch of Friends of Humanity minis, and a ton of miniatures that I could use as civilians. Those tend to be really cheap, which is great because they're also the ones I get the most use out of. So here are some pics of just a few of the minis I picked up. I really love the detail on that Scorpion. It's a really cool sculpt and pretty big. You can see I had some trouble rebasing him on just a regular sized base. He went for $1.20. Night Nurse is an example of a civilian, only 80 cents. And that's kind of on the high side, to be honest. Moon Knight is really detailed, and he's got a really cool pose too. Only $1. And I fell in love with this Elektra as Daredevil mini, so I shelled out a whole $2.40 for that one. That was really an impulse buy though. And the Hydro Man here was just a really cool, dynamic mini, and only 50 cents. All of this is to say is if you want minis now, you don't need to pre-order them. You don't need to get a predetermined set of them, and you don't have to settle for two-dimensional if you want 3D. I don't want to come across as too much like a downer, so I wanted to offer some constructive advice for CMON if they wanted to make supplements for the game that I would gobble up in a second, even if they were two-dimensional minis that I would otherwise shy away from. 1. If you're going to be making sets of minis, give them a theme. If you had a pack of miniatures for the Deadpool Role-Plays the Marvel Universe adventure, I'd buy it in a second. 2D minis that could store flat would be ideal if you're traveling to a convention, or even just going to your local gaming store to run that game. And theoretically, that's a game you might run multiple times for different groups of people. So it's worth the expenditure. And you'd be producing very hard to find miniatures. I mean, where else are you going to get a Ren Kimura or an Annabelle Riggs or Terror or Paladin? Or drones? We've had a couple adventures with drones now, and I don't have anything that comes close to standing in for one. So yeah, if you made a set that was tied to an adventure, especially a good adventure, I'd buy it. And 2, another thing that would get me to instantly buy some two-dimensional minis to go alongside my regular ones would be more big miniatures. The one thing that they held out of these new sets because they were exclusives to the Deluxe Starter Set campaign. FOMO sucks, and honestly, it's become a huge turnoff for me. If I could get my hands on some Sentinels, say, for a lower cost than the HeroClix ones that go for like $20-30 a piece, I would definitely pick those up. And that would be great to be available for sale alongside of the X-Men expansion. But that just isn't CMON's business model, which relies heavily on pre-orders and extremely long fulfillment times. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. How about you? Was there anything in these products that has you juiced? Please let me know. I'm only one person with one opinion, and believe me, I know that everyone isn't like me with years worth of Marvel miniatures on my shelf, even before MMORPG was released. So I really hope there are folks out here that are excited about these products, because the more of these that CMON sells in the future, the better chance they'll have products that maybe appeal to me down the line. True Believers, as always, I appreciate you, your feedback, and your suggestions. And another big thank you to Ryan for the scoop. I hope you all have a great day.